So what I want to ask you is, I of course adore the fact that you associate very strongly with positive psychology. Tell me about that, and how does that come back to how my business runs?
So why I got involved or interested in positive psychology is because when I was in corporate, I loved the first, I would say, 16 years of my corporate career. And I disliked the last 2 years in my corporate career. And it took me a while to understand that I was unhappy and realizing that on a Sunday evening, I dreaded Mondays. And I don't know, something just didn't feel right. The energy wasn't right. I couldn't connect to my team. It's like I lost my mojo, and maybe I was burnt out. I won't, I won't deny it. I mean, in the financial world, that can happen quite quickly. But then I decided to leave, and my question then was peaked through, if I'm unhappy at work, how many others are? And when I started speaking to my social networks and friends, that comment popped up quite regularly. I'm not really happy at work. And that's then where I started diving deep into the science of positive psychology, which is about how to flourish and how to get a person to actually to thrive and not to function. And I've got a very deep method, philosophical belief that I don't think we've been put on this earth to function. I really think we've been put on this earth to thrive, to self-actualize, to really evolve as more conscious, better human beings. And the minute I can do that as an individual, absolutely you benefit, your team benefits, the organization benefits. But I also think your families benefit, your relationships benefit. And I think society in large benefits. And I know it might sound over optimistic or super idealistic, but I think we would have more global world peace. So I'm sorry, but that's like really.
I'm with you. No, it makes so much sense that we often think when it comes to skills training, we teach someone something in work. But when we come to personal development at work, it pays forward because they take those skills back to their family. So I'm also a coach and a strengths coach, and so many times people have come back to us, oddly enough, often the men, and go, oh, my wife is interested because she really loved what you told me. And it is just that thing. It's about developing ourselves and taking our best everywhere, not just at work.
Absolutely. And that's what it is. That's why I said, if you want to do success, it's about balancing all those components. So not just thriving at work and achieving and attaining all those goals and, reaching all those milestones, and then neglecting, I don't know, physical health, relationships, hobbies, spiritual health, whatever all goes into your well-being wheel, if I want to call it that.
Yes. Yes. So, Kerstin, what has happened with us then from a happiness perspective and work from home, do you think, over the past 2 years?
In the beginning, it was novel, it was exciting, it was super cool to work from home. I just had to wear something glam at the top and, I don't know, wear either nothing or shorts at the bottom or pajamas. So there was a novelty. I can do what I want to, when I want to. But it came with a different challenge for us of not being able to disconnect because we were online 24/7. I think we started working longer hours. We didn't have a process of processing our day as we exited work and were commuting home. Now it's between the study and the kitchen. I mean, you're there in a minute. And we've really, really struggling with work-life balance because a lot of people are not able to put in those strict boundaries. So they don't have that form of self-regulation to say no. Plus, a lot of people are missing, and it's as much, it sounds crazy, but they're missing their colleagues. As much as you sometimes don't like your colleagues or really want to be around them, but they're missing people, and really people that they can engage with, to talk around, like they say, at the water cooler or in the kitchen, or just having a chat. And on an open floor plan office, it's about bouncing off ideas, hearing another voice. I mean, you can't on Slack really say, what do you think about this quickly? And then get a touchy-feely answer for it, you know? I think that's where it's become very complicated for us, and it's become very concerning for us, and it's made happiness at work more difficult.
Does this count for introverts as well? I mean, surely they're having a ball sitting at home and being able to sort of, not over-connect, which can be incredibly exhausting for them.
I think it does apply for introverts as well. So as much as everybody thinks they're these hermits who love to just self-isolate at home, which they do, but they do it more from a self-care point of view, and from a point of view that they need time to think over decisions. So they're not the quick on the feet kind of decision makers. So they like the isolation component for self-care and to think about stuff. But even the best introvert needs somewhere a human individual, or a heartbeat, or a fuzzy person to touch and feel and to engage with. So even introverts would like that. So for them, what works the best is this new hybrid virtual process where they are forced, if that's the word, or it's compulsory to go to the office twice a week and work at home for the other 3. So that model works for the introverts the best, because I'm getting my touchy-feely, but I'm not peopled out at the end of the day, and I can go home again and recharge and do what I need to. For the extroverts, they could... it's more challenging, and maybe for them it is that they have to go to the office every day.
Yes. I happen to work with a bunch of extroverts, and they are all losing their minds. They're like, please, can we just have a team building where people are actually in the room with us?
And it's hard. It's difficult for a leader to find that balance, especially if your team is virtual, like they're not even in the same country. Because I mean, I work with an organization. They are not able, from a geographical point of view, to just go to the office, because they're just in totally different continents. So they have to do a lot of touchy-feely stuff, if I can call it that, through their digital meetings. So whoever chairs that or runs it has to be very, very acute. It has to have an exceptionally high emotional intelligence to be able to read body language, bring in that, make sure that people are totally engaged, ask questions, bring in humor, and do that. So it's a total different leadership style that comes in there. And if that's not your leadership style, that's a skill set to learn.
So, Kerstin, am I being unfair and stereotypical if I assume that millennials have taken to this offline life better than maybe us Gen X's and some baby boomers, or Gen Ys? I get them confused, and the baby boomers.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Millennials and Generation Zs, which are even younger than the millennials, they've taken more to this easier. Because they've also grown up way more with digital, and they can get quite more comfortable with it. So they have taken to it faster. They also maybe don't know the other world that much.
Perspective. They don't know what they're missing.
They don't know what they're missing, but they are, strangely enough, the biggest concern, or are experiencing the highest mental health challenges from the age groups. Now again, the Generation Zs or the baby boomers are coping with this whole pandemic, working from home component more than the younger generations. They are Absolutely more stressed, showing up more signs of frustration, overwhelm, anxiety, getting mental disorders. They are, that curve is much faster for them. And I think the reason is lack of life experience, lack of resilience, and perhaps perseverance, because they've grown up differently. They've gotten things a lot faster. Things were given to them faster. I mean, you could just Google or YouTube something and there you got the answer. But now, whoa, this is a bit different. How do I YouTube resilience?
Yes, I do. I YouTube resilience. But it's actually an interesting thing that you mentioned, because I certainly am aware of the fact that my parents, for example, I was born very late to my parents, and they had lived through a world war, and everything wasn't just given to you. And I think their parents went through a depression, so you have to hoard and stock everything. So I hear what you're saying is like the millennials, it's always just been there. It's on Google, and if it's not on Google, it actually doesn't exist probably.
Yes. So this whole pandemic doesn't exist. Well, it didn't, but now it does.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have Googled myself just to make sure I exist. Because, just in case, I was scared. Yes, I was scared I couldn't be found on Google.
Oh, hysterical.
So where do we go from here on work from home and happiness? What I'm hearing you say is hybrid over total virtual work, where geographically possible. I hear you saying a lot more humanity in how we interact, and that meetings actually have a hi, how do you feel component about it. How do we bring this across? Because we were talking previously about managers who don't get happiness in the workplace. What are we missing? What can we do to get their heads out of the sand?
We can educate them. We can create awareness through podcasts, webinars, public speaking. So that's one component. We can provide information, statistics, data. So if I think of the change model, when a person is resistant, what do they need? They need information. They need that kind of thing. And then it might treat the curiosity to say, all right, there's maybe something in it. They might hear it from their colleagues around them, friends, networks, whatever, and go, you know what, let me maybe slowly get this head out of the sand and start addressing this and listening. Those who aren't ready to change won't. It's like anybody who's got like an addiction. Everybody tells you to stop it, but you go, I don't see the problem. Like, really, what's my problem? So I think it's that you can't force somebody to see what they don't want to see, but we can only keep on educating, showing the statistics, carrying on with research papers, taking one leader at a time and demonstrating how this happens. And I think also the pains are going to get quite sore. It's going to get painful for leaders.
Yes.
And it's going to come to a point where they're going to go, I'm not feeling efficient. I'm not getting the results I want to. I need to start looking at other strategies. Like my old way is not working. So what else do I need to do?
So, Kerstin, do you think that part of this resistance, and you're so right, I mean, we need to put the education out there and show people how it can be done, because it can be scary. But do you think some of it is about, if I'm nice to people, they will take advantage?
Advantage in which way? So,
for example, if someone says, oh, I'm family member that's ill, and I say, oh, work from home because it's fine, that there will then be constantly a reason why we need to work from home. Or, I then can't discipline someone and have a strict conversation with them because I've been nice to them and I've sort of broken that strict, cold professional barrier.
Okay, got it. No, I think that's where, again, communication comes in the balance. Just because you're bringing in humanity in the workplace does not mean there's no accountability and no ownership for goals or that. That still stays. So, of course, if a person has a family situation, be empathetic towards it and kind and see. But if it's a reoccurring thing, I mean, you'll pick up the pattern. And then that requires a totally different conversation. And you would do that regardless if it's hybrid or, at the office. I mean, you would pick up something's just not right here, trust your gut feel and have the conversation. But you do need to know what is happening within your employees' personal lives so that you can maybe understand, okay, they're going through this. Let me just lay off a little bit and then see if we can push again. So again, that emotional intelligence component comes in very strongly. I mean, if a person has lost a dear loved one because of an illness or COVID, it's not the ideal time to either do a performance appraisal or like drive them for peak performance. I mean, you're setting yourself and them up for failure. So it's like, let me cut them some slack. But then it's like, okay, when are you starting to get ready? And if they're not getting ready, how can I support you as a leader? What do you need to get there? Because now our relationship is no longer balanced. I'm paying you, you're not delivering. We need to have a conversation. So these normal, candid conversations need to then arrive.
Wonderful. I love the word balance, because there can be balance in the humanity and balance in the productivity then.
Don't lose it. Yes.
Is it just the role of the manager to support employees at that point? Or do you think there are ways that we can get teams to support each other during these times? And what does that look like?
I mean, a true leader's task and role is people management and letting go of technical competencies. But I understand that's not 100% always possible, but still the majority of a leader's focus should be, how's my team doing? How they're feeling? How do I grow them? What's the opportunities? So all of that, because the leader's responsibility is, how do I grow my team? How do I get my team to flourish?
Yes.
That's the key question they should be asking themselves every day. Who's not flourishing and what do I do about it? And yes, they should involve their team, and the team should also get involved, because very often the team can sometimes see when they're working with somebody that something's not right, something's off balance here. And it's also then asking them, hey buddy, what's up? I mean, something's not right, and how can I support you, and what do you need? So again, teams need to be educated to be human to each other, and that it's not, let me hold on to information and let me achieve this and push you out of the way. And, it's again, that kind of situation, but it's more, let's bring in this, we achieve. It's not I achieve. And how do we do this together? So I think teams need that level of re-education, or maybe education, because they've maybe never had it as well.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Kerstin. As always, you're just a total font of knowledge, and I really enjoyed our chat. I look forward to having one with real coffee and in person. But at 4 Seeds, I know you guys do a lot of good. What's exciting? What's new? What's happening this year that you guys are working on?
So we've got quite a what do you say, a challenging strategy ahead of us that we set for 2022. And the one that we're busy with right now is to actually roll out an e-learning online program where people can, over a time period of either 6 weeks or 8 weeks, depending on what the content is, go and listen to videos, assessments, questionnaires, activities, intergroup discussions if they want to do that for the extroverts, and the introverts can choose not to. But really listening and learning a topic, be that like resilience or emotional intelligence or mental health or strength-based learning or communication. Because what I'm finding is doing it in a full day workshop, people are not digesting everything. It's too much information and they don't have time to practice the learning. So here the classes might be, or the videos might be, I don't know, for the week 10-15 minutes with activities. So there's an investment of say 40 minutes in it for a week, but they can integrate it, and then there's another week, so they go and practice it, and that's where they ingrain the learning. So that's one project we're super excited and busy with. And the other one is we do online workshops on all these topics, and we've again chunked them down over 2 days and only do 2 hours each day, because it's malleable for the person. They can go, okay, from 9 to 11, I only have to do this. It's, you don't sitting there getting like, can't listen to this anymore. I can manage my day, and it's chunkable. Plus they get a whole workbook, a written out workbook, so they can walk away with something, reread it, do activities. I mean, those are two big components. And the third one we're working on is we're busy designing a calculator that works out the cost of unhappy employees. So you can actually plot in your figures and then go, whoa, that's what it actually costs me. So CFOs will like it. This is what it actually costs us to have unhappy employees. And is that cost not, because it's a sunken cost. So should we not rather use it for something more strategic?
I absolutely love that. And so updates on all of these programs and your products, your services will all be on the 4Seeds website, right?
Yes, they'll be on our 4Seed website. So people can either hook up with us on social media, so on LinkedIn or Facebook. They can register for our blogs, where we'll also share all these upcoming things, but it's either social media or the blogs, where I think we'll share the most of these updates and developments that are happening.
Wonderful. And I'll also be liking all of those on LinkedIn for you as well. So we'll get the word out there. And Kerstin, lastly, I know that you've got a hectic schedule, but if anyone would like to reach out to you, what email address can they use?
I think the easiest is to just reach out to me directly. And my email address is Kerstin. So it's Kerstin, spelled a bit different, at, and then the number 4, seeds, seeds.co.za.
Wonderful.
That's the easiest.
Awesome. That is fabulous, because I'm sure people are going to have a lot of questions about all the awesome work that you are busy doing right now. And thank you for your time. It has been lovely chatting to you, and I hope that we'll be having that coffee soon.
I hope so too. The real one, no virtual coffee.
The real one.
Yeah, the real one. And thank you so much for the invitation and this opportunity. I so appreciate it. And yeah, just humbly thankful.
It's a dear pleasure. Well, everyone, yet again spoiled by the volume of knowledge and access to information that we have through our wonderful coffee companions. I'd like to thank Kerstin again from 4Seeds Consulting. She, I love the energy that she has and this passion for making the world a better place, one client at a time. As always, if you've enjoyed this on LinkedIn, please like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you know when the next episode is ready. If you're joining us from LinkedIn and from Facebook, lovely to have you here. Please like, subscribe. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. We always love to hear your thoughts.